Away from politics, hospitals are many things. A workstation, a place for the sick to seek treatment, and a safe haven for others. It is the only place where they feel wanted and cared for. This is the case of more than 18 patients at the Kenyatta National Hospital who have been abandoned by their kin or after being brought in by well-wishers while sick. KTN News Health and Science reporter Beldeen Waliaula met with some of these patients and highlights their journeys and the efforts to reunite them with their families.
Veronica Juma has called Kenyatta National Hospital home since February 2019 when she was brought in by well-wishers who found her convulsing near Nyayo Stadium. She is estimated to be 16 years and from Tanzania. Since she only speaks Chaga, tracing her home has been a challenge.
So I needed to look for her family and establish the circumstances under which she was admitted in this hospital. 2 days after she was admitted, some two men came and they said that there were a maternal uncle and a maternal cousin, and they told me that her mother is deceased.
According to Emma, the girls' relatives found themselves begging on Kenyan streets. They were duped into coming to Kenya with the false promise of wheelchairs and financial help for people living with disability.
At the moment, this girl is safer here. Of course, now, because of the COVID, but in terms of care and protection, she's better off here till we are able to repatriate her back to Tanzania.
James Mweke in Ward 7A does not know how he ended up at the hospital after being brought in August this year as an unknown African male with pneumonia. He says he comes from Sultan Hamoud, but since no one has ever come to visit him, no one can confirm if that is true.
Kutoka nikuja hakuna mtu anajua ama niko hapa. Ni tunajua nilikuja letu ni watu kutoka nini mahali tulikuwa tunafanya kazi.
Discharging Mweke has been difficult because his identity is still unknown. His fingerprints could not be recognized by the National Registration Bureau, making tracing of his family members difficult. Daisy Nafula Nekesa, on the other hand, does not want to go back home to her family, even though she remembers them. She was brought to the hospital in July after being found helpless by the roadside.
Remember family na vitu zingine.
Utamani kurudi nyumbani na kuja kuchukua?
Sidhani kanaweza ishi na wao.
The hospital has managed to trace her home in Endebe's Kaibei division in Trans Nzoia County. Some patients have stayed in the hospital up to 7 years, as getting home placements for the adults abandoned patients is an uphill task, as is tracing relatives when a patient doesn't have an identity card.
We look for home placement. Sometimes we succeed, but our challenge in placing adult patients is that we don't have enough homes in the country to take care of the adult patients. So they end up staying in the hospital for a long time.
Of the 18 abandoned patients at the hospital, 6 are children, most of whom are physically and mentally challenged.
Our collaboration with the National Bureau of Registration and the Provincial Administration actually has been so successful because we have managed to link patients who have been with us. The families does not know where they are. Maybe the family think that the kin is on his own business or her business, but unfortunately, he or she has ended up in our facility.
For many of the abandoned patients, the hope is that one day they will be discharged home or that their family members will remember them and come for them. Beldeen Waliaula, KTN News.